Well, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Leadership Edge. I'm your host, Dr. P. Ronald Wilder. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Leadership Edge. This leadership podcast is dedicated to all things leadership. We talk about leadership. We talk about the issues of leadership, the challenges of leadership, the highs, the lows, the decision making, all things leadership. That's what we talk about. And so our desire and our goal is to help you be a better leader, that you may function better, be more fluent, more fruitful, and have more fluency in your leadership repertoire, that we may give you that edge. That's why we call it the Leadership Edge. We're trying to give you that edge in your leadership journey. Amen. So thank you tonight for tuning in. Now listen, before we get started in our talk tonight, several things I want you to do for me. Number one, hit the like and follow button on Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching on those, hit those buttons, like and share us. That way, if you like us and follow us and subscribe on YouTube, you get notifications anytime that BGTV Studios goes live. Now, I want you to hit that share button too. That's very important. Amen. Because every one of us, our influence on social media goes in a different way. I have influence in a way that the next person don't. Theirs has something that the next person don't. But if we all share, we can cover much more ground. So if everybody out there listening to me today would just hit that share button, amen, you'll help us and help BGTV Studios and our podcast cover the area, cover the country, cover the state, and ultimately cover the globe. That's what we want to do. All right. While you're watching, please comment. Amen. Help let the podcasters know that some of the things they're saying you're enjoying, they minister to you, they touch you, they bless you, whatever, however. So go ahead and let us know, hey, that was good. Give a comment. Also, let us know where you're watching from. Ted from Atlanta, Bill from Montgomery, Taylor from Huntsville, wherever you may be watching us from, we'd like to know. All right? Great. All right. Let's settle in. Let's talk leadership. You've had a great day today, I trust. You had a great day, a victorious day, and you're settling down to end the day. And so what better way to do that? Then let's talk a little leadership. Now, we've been talking in this podcast for the last several weeks about the challenges of leadership. I want to talk to you. I want to look straight in the camera and talk to you as leaders today. Leadership has its challenges. There's no way to avoid it. There's no way to be exempt from them. If you are a leader, there are challenges that you have as a leader. They go with the territory. It's part of the process. That's not a bad thing. Doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong. That doesn't mean that you're not a good leader. The best of leaders, the greatest of leaders, the world-class leaders, all have their area and issues of challenges. So let's talk about, we've been talking about some of the issues and leadership challenges. And one of the things we talked about, one of the challenges that leaders have is that they deal with new pains, the various pains of leadership. I wish I could look in this camera and I wish I can tell you that leadership is pain-free, that there is no pain with it, but that's not true. You know, in sports, they have a saying, no pain, no gain. If you don't feel some pain, you're not going to have any gains. And that's kind of the way leadership functions also. If there's no pains, there's not going to be any gains. So just accept the fact that there are pains that come with leadership. There's a burden. Now, we begin to identify some of the various pains that come with leadership. We talked about the rapid explosion of change, how quick change takes place. Change always brings pain. We talked about that the other week. We talked about technology innovation, how technology is changing, how technology is advancing, and how we have to keep up with the technology and learn the technology. And so that itself is a pain. Another area of pain that leaders have to contend with is finding honest and competent people. Now, let me tell you something. As a leader, people are our greatest asset. I'm a leader. I'm a leader of leaders. I lead a church. And I can tell you now that people are your greatest asset, okay? There's no greater asset than people. People are your greatest asset. So as a leader, you should always treat your people right. I know leaders that beat their people down, put them down, never encourage them, never lift them up, Never give praise for good performances. It's always what you didn't do, what ain't happening, this, then the other. And it makes going to the organization, whether it's a job, whether it's a church, it makes it like it's a chore. It becomes a toil just to show up because you know what's going to happen to you. Well, that is not good leadership. Now, I am not saying that you don't correct people and they need to be corrected. I'm not saying you don't hold people accountable. I am not saying you don't make correction where correction needs to be made. All those things are valid. However, there's a flip side of that coin. That flip side of that coin is you have to encourage people. You have to give people praise for when they do well. Let them know how much they mean to the team, how much you appreciate them. Okay? So people are our greatest asset. If you don't have no people, what do you lead? Who are you leading? Think about that. What are you leading if you don't have people? If there are no people with you, what are you leading? I would like to know because I can't figure it out. If there's no people involved in your process or involved in your organization, then what are you leading? We are called leaders. Why? Because we lead people. We're not leading a pack of dogs. We're not leading a litter of cats. Okay? We're not leading sheep, goats, and cows. No, we are leading people, our greatest asset. And so what we have to do, and what every one of us does as a pastor, as a business, what are we all looking for? We're all looking for good people to add to our leadership repertoire, to bring into our organization. We're looking for good people who are leaders who can take us to the next level, who can fill a void we may have. So one of the pains is sometimes not having good and honest people. First of all, you gotta have honest people. Okay, people that you can trust. Because leadership, a lot of leadership is built on trust. And when trust is lost, we don't have leadership. I know leaders, and I speak this mostly from the church arena because that's where I spend most of my life. But I know leaders who are pastoring church, they don't trust none of the people around them. They are so afraid of betrayal. They're so afraid of someone doing them wrong that they don't trust anyone. I've had them say it to me. Ronald, they call me Pete. Pete, I don't trust none of them. Well, I wonder how that shows me that there's some real issues and problems in your organization from a leadership standpoint. Because if there's no trust, you can't build collaboration. You can't build vision. Because you can't oversee and watch every aspect of it. You got to trust some of it to somebody else. That's just the way the thing goes. But, and they'll say, but they may betray me. They might. It's possible. It happened to Jesus. So why shouldn't it happen to you? Are you greater than him? It's possible. But let me tell you something. See, you're trying to eliminate risk. And there is no way to eliminate risk in covenant. One of the teachings I have on my website, www.pronaldwilder.com, is called the Leadership Covenant. And I talk about the covenant that teams have to cut together. It's a covenant that I've cut with my leaders and the team that help me do what I do. Okay? We've cut deep covenant together. And every so often, every couple of years, we revisit that covenant to make sure that it's solid. Okay? That's what we do. And so the trust level I have for all those people in covenant with me is at a high peak. Is at a high peak. I trust them totally. Now, so you need people you can trust. You can't build an organization with people that you cannot trust. You're going to have to take that chance. You're going to have to, whatever hurt you had, whatever injury you've had from the past, is hindering your future. Okay? You know, we've all had people walk away from us. We've all had people betray us. We've all had it. We've all had it. But it's not going to stop me from trusting again. Because I can't judge this person by what the last person did. Jesus couldn't judge Peter by what Judas did. So why should you? Okay? So you have to trust people. So you look for honest people, people you can trust, people that you can cut covenant with. Okay? And so the people on my team, I have 115% trust in them. Totally. They know it. They know that's how I feel. And I believe that trust is reciprocal. They have the same toward me. And so we can build a great collaboration, great synergy, great energy, because we've settled the trust issue. I'm not looking over my shoulder. They're not looking over theirs. Okay? They're not wondering what I'm going to do. I ain't wondering what they're going to do. They know I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of my commitment. I believe they men and women of their word, and they men and women of their commitment. Okay? That's how it goes. So the pain is defined. Now, honest and good people. Not only good people, but competent people. That means people that have certain skills. People that can do the job that you need done. They bring a skill to the table that may be your weakness. Okay? As gifted and talented as I think I may be, guess what? I still got some weaknesses. I got areas where I'm not as sharp in, not as swift in. Okay? So I need people around me who have sharpness in those areas so that it completes me. So I don't need everybody strong in the area I'm strong in. I need folks strong in the area I'm not strong in. That way it balances out and covers everything. Okay? So the pain of looking for competent people, that creates a leadership pain. And sometimes you hit it, sometimes you don't. But you got to keep looking. You got to keep bringing new people in. Okay? Now, that's just another area of pain. Another area of pain that we found leaders deal with, especially in the church arena. I'm sure it's in every arena because we go to restaurants and we go to restaurants and we take a long time to wait on. Or I've heard restaurant owners say we can't find people to work. It's been like this since the pandemic. We can't find people to work. Okay, and as a result, that it's the decrease and increase of membership. Okay. You have two kind of pains. When things start growing, they're growing pains, okay? Because you have to adjust to the growth. You have to change things. You have to do things different, okay? It's kind of like, if you lived in one neighborhood and you moved into a more upscale neighborhood, well, there's a different mindset. There's a different thing you do, In your old neighborhood, you might have let your grass grow high before you cut it. But in the upscale neighborhood, you can't do that. Matter of fact, in the upscale neighborhood, you don't even cut your own grass. Most of the people have people come cut their grass, okay? Because property values and all that come into play. So it's a whole different mindset. You have to adjust to where you are, Trash can't be in the yard. You can't have a broke down car sitting in the yard. Sitting there with just broke down and ain't been moved in months. You can't do that in upscale places. That's just a part of that. And the same holds true in an organization when it's growing and moving to different places. It requires a different mindset. So growth has its pains. Things that were good when you were at this level is not good at this level. Okay, we did it this way here. We can't do it like that now. It's a whole different level and a whole different degree of pain. The flip side of that coin is the decrease of membership brings a pain. Everybody seemingly has taken some kind of hit since the pandemic. The pandemic really exposed what we had, what we were, especially from a church standpoint. because we were all floating these numbers out there, and it just didn't add up. The math just wasn't good, you know. And we were like David. We were somewhat like David in Chronicles when God told him not to number Israel, and he did it anyway in his pride. We were so proud of our numbers, although the numbers were totally escalated and exaggerated. Okay, but we were proud of our numbers, and we boast on our numbers, and we compared ourselves based on our numbers. We did all these things. Okay, pandemic comes along, and it didn't hit just one person. It hit us all, and everybody saw a decrease. And some people, here we are a few years past the pandemic, that decrease has never returned back to the norm. Okay, many places, there are many mega churches that had full crowds. The crowd's no longer full now. That's a different level of pain. Yeah. Now, obviously, technology is allowing us. We're reaching people online, but we are programmed to judge ourselves or to be content by what we see in front of us. And so it doesn't register us that it might be 100 folks sitting in front of us, but 5,000 sitting in front of the live stream. Okay, the biggest audience may not be in the building; it may be out there, but we don't see that. So as a result, the pain comes because we feel like the ministry is suffering because prior to this pandemic we had this amount, and now we got that amount. And so that's a whole different level of pain. How do I navigate these new waters? You know, we all have people that we lost during the pandemic. In other words, we haven't seen them. They haven't seen us since that time. But that brings a different level of pain. Okay. Another pain that leaders face is the ever need for resources. We in ministry, you know, unlike the business of like Walmart or Target, people have business, they have a product that they sell and they receive profits from it. That's not what the church does. We don't have a product like that we sell tangibly. That's the church survives, and that's how God designed the system. And I'm not saying that should change, but it survives on the giving, the tithe and offerings of the people that are obedient to God. And so there are resources needed. So the average church, only about 10 to 15% of the congregation tithe. So that means that 85% of the church don't even give, which puts a strain on the resources. Okay, because you're trying to run ministry and you're trying to do vision and carry out the mandate that God has given you on the support of 15 to 20% of the membership. And then people expect you to be able to do, I mean, imagine that. Imagine if Walmart tomorrow lost 80% of its customers, only 20% came in there. You know what would happen? There would be mass closings of Walmart superstores. Imagine if Target, Dick's, Academy, let's take a restaurant, Longhorns, place we go to, I like to go to, my family, always packed out, good food, Cheesecake Factory. Imagine if the Cheesecake Factory lost 80% of the people who come to eat, okay? Or better yet, and this is a little different, because the people in our churches that don't give, they still come and benefit from the church and the messages and and from the programs in the church, all that. They just don't support it. They just don't give to it. It's like so imagine if McDonald's had 80% of the people that came there to order food but didn't pay for it. How long would McDonald's stay in business? If 80% of the people go to Walmart, just go in there and pick up stuff and just walk out and, and go through the line and don't pay for it, but yet they're getting product and only 20% paying, how long will Walmart stay in business? That's what we expect the church world to do. You got 100% of people coming. Okay, let's just throw out numbers. Let's take 200. You got 200 folks in an audience. According to George Barna's research, and this is the high end, that 15 to 20%. Let's take the high end. Let's take 20%. 20% of 200 will be 40. Okay, so that means out of the 200 people coming, only 40 supported with tithe and offering. That means 160 come, enjoy the praise and worship, enjoy the music, want pastoral counseling, send their kids to children's church, benefit from all the programs of the church, but never give a dime. So 40 people is maintaining a church with 200 in attendance, 200 membership. Okay? So that means that 80% of the people who come do absolutely nothing. And so we expect the church to survive and thrive. And if the church has a shortfall, the first thing that the people say, not the 40 who support, but it'll be the 160 who don't, what they're doing with the money. Now they ain't gave a dime, but they want to know what's done with the money. This creates leadership pain because you need resources. You want ministry. You want the best. You want the best child care. You want all the good stuff that you see, but yet it can't do it if the resources are not there. Here's what I personally believe. I believe that whatever level church is, if everybody in that church did their part, that's in terms of giving tithe and offering, if they did their part, there'll be more than enough to sustain the ministry. I believe that with all of my heart. The problem is, and I'll close right here as my time is up. You get most people don't. There's a mega church pastor. I won't call his name. He built a church some years back. The church cost I think $15 million to build. $15 million to build. And he had thousands of members at the time. Thousands. I mean, they were like 15, 20,000 members on roll. And I thought, well, surely that ain't nothing. And he made the statement. He said, y'all think 15,000 people pay for this? He said, no. He said, this is the result of 20% of the people that attend this church. 20% of the people who attend this church gave the money for this to happen. Think about that. Out of 15,000, 20%, 3,000. 12,000 just showed up. It's a pain. It's a pain. So when you look at it like that, you begin to see, man, and so we need resources to do vision, to provide opportunities for people. There's an ever need of resources, okay? And the lack of resources is not because the church lacks vision. It's not because the church lacks a program. What the church lacks is participation from all who benefit from the ministry of the church. My time is up. Pick it up here next week, okay? Pick it up next week. All right. Listen, hope you enjoyed tonight. Check with me again next week. We'll continue talking about the pains of the challenges of leadership. Now, listen, don't forget to visit my website, www.pronaldwilder.com. Once on that website, you'll be able to find my book. The website's on the screen for you, The ABCs of Leadership. Man, this is a great book. Great chapters in it. What I do is take words that start with letters of the alphabet and write about them from a leadership perspective. Like here under D, I talk about decisions, what it means to make decisions. How do you make decisions? Define the decision. Clarify your objectives. Prioritize your objectives. This is a great book. So pick it up. It's on the website, www. Also, go to my shop page on the website, pronaldwilder.com, and you'll find my leadership teachings. You'll find about 30 leadership teachings there that'll really bless you. The one I talked about today is the Leadership Covenant. Every team need to hear that one, along with the rules of engagement. Now, If you buy everyone individually, you can download them. We don't do CDs anymore. Just download them to your device. The best buy on my website is this bundle package. You'll see it on there. It is a jump drive that has every leadership teaching I have on it. Stick it in your device, and you got me. This will be about half of what you would pay if you bought everything by itself. So this is your best buy the bundle package on the website. Listen, before I go, I want to ask you to do several other things. One other thing, don't forget, BGTV Studios is a great platform that God has raised up. It is totally provided, supplied by the generosity of God's people. So why don't you think about being a good, planting a gift to this ministry? The ways to give are on the screen. You can span the QR codes, website, Venmo, Cash App. Give a good one-time gift, or be a monthly giver. We'll appreciate it. This is good ground. You'll be blessed if you give on this ground. Listen, my time is up. Thank you so much for tuning into the Leadership Edge. Don't forget, join us again next Tuesdays. We continue talking about the challenges of leadership. But until then, I'm your host, Dr. P. Ronald Wilder, reminding you that leadership matters and leaders lead. God bless you. Have a great week, and I'll see you on next Tuesday.